G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we've got some exciting news in the Tesla world. So my plan this weekend, as I currently am in between plans on the Falcons, I was going to film some Tesla content. I was going to do like a 1 year of ownership update. Do I still recommend it? That sort of stuff. And maybe like a 10 frequently asked questions answered video or something. But literally driving to breakfast this morning and saw there was a software update, and I thought, I wonder if that is full self-driving update for the subscription stuff. Anyway, at breakfast, I saw Martin Donnan from, I'm gonna say Power Tech Tuning, but a million other businesses, all EV related that he does, electric, AI, whatever, man of many talents, posted that subscription is out. So I could not barely contain my excitement. Zoomed out of breakfast, off to work to plug in and do a little bit of updating over the work Wi-Fi, and going to organise to start my subscription today. So hopefully it works today once the update's done. It is currently about halfway, going slowly. So hopefully the update finishes soon. So yeah, hopefully the update finishes shortly, and I'm gonna go do some tests with it. Tell you what I honestly think of it. My gut feeling right now is $149 a month is too steep. No one's gonna do a year of that. My plan was to basically start it only if I'm driving to Melbourne. But then the more I thought about that, the more it still didn't make sense, because round trip to Melbourne's about $230, $250 in charging. Add another $150 on that and it starts becoming cheaper to fly. So at that point, I start thinking maybe the $150 a month doesn't actually make sense. The $10,000 outright just baffles me who would do that, because you basically need to keep the car for 7 years for that to be worth it. And I'm not going to keep this car for 7 years, and it's not transferable, I believe, anyway. So again, seems stupid. My gut feeling would be less than 5% of people buy it outright, and other than maybe people trying it once, I'd think maybe less than 20% of people will actually pay for the subscription. Obviously that's my thoughts before testing it. I mean, even if it was magical and I just put in an address and it drove me somewhere, I still don't see how it's worth $150 a month or $10,000 outright. The only people who I think it would make sense for is people that not taxis and Ubers, because again, you don't want to be paying for an Uber and the guy's just sitting there while his car drives you. It would make sense to be a driverless car if the tech gets better. But people who are like couriers, or people that run things around all day, people that do 200, 300, 400 Ks a day, it would probably make the most sense, because it would just be able to alleviate a little bit of that mental load while you're driving. Obviously you have to still pay attention, but you don't have to think about as many things, like keeping the car in a straight line. You only have to think about what's coming at me. So anyway, I think for the average Joe like me that does 25 Ks a day round trip to work and 3 2,000 K round road trips each way a year, the factory autopilot works good enough for that, I think. I don't see myself, other than maybe this month, doing a couple of videos on it, maybe doing it over Christmas while I drive down to Melbourne. Other than that, I think I'm not gonna keep it long term, but we'll see how we go. We'll see what it's like anyway, and see if it's worth it. So software update is almost done, so I'm just going to show you how I think you're supposed to do it, which I believe is you go upgrades, software upgrades. Now you got subscribe or buy. So as you can see here, acceleration boost, $3,000. Still haven't been able to justify that. $3 grand to make my car faster. Sounds cool, but I really don't use full throttle more than about once a month. $10,000 for full self-driving. Again, I think that is absolutely way too expensive. Whoops, wrong button. So we're going to go ahead with this. Now, from memory, this is super simple, because you basically register your credit card with Tesla, because I do the premium connectivity. So I believe you go add, let's go check out, probably blank all these details for me, Kester, and then let's just go subscribe. So it's nearly as easy as subscribing to the Bentals YouTube channel, but it costs you less money to do that. So I've now subscribed to full self-driving, supervised. So hopefully we now have got, I don't know, different buttons or something. Do I need to reload the app? I'll check. Oh, hang on, something's happening. Might give my screen a little bit of a clean while it boots up, because she's covered in fingerprints. All right, no, it's back. Haven't gotten a chance to do that yet. Let's see what's happening. I wonder if there's going to be another update. But I believe I actually type in, like, let's go, probably needs to do the update first, but let's see if it's already working. Let's just type in Guzman and see if full self-driving. Virginia. I think that's just going to be the regular navigation. I don't think it's going to give me the option. No, I don't think it's going to give me the option to drive there. I think the button is here or something. No, no button. Could also be because I'm plugged in. It looks like it's just going to be navigation. Let's just go end trip. Anyway, I don't really actually know how it works, as you can tell, because I've never used it. So I'm going to finish my software update, and which seems to have stalled. The software updates now move closer to Wi-Fi access point. The Wi-Fi access point is literally about 3 meters away from me. I cannot believe how slow the Tesla updates happen, because I'll be connected to my phone, I'll do a speed test, it might be like 300 megabits a second, but this will download at like 1 megabyte a second. So anyway, it's annoying. I'm guessing their upload server sucks in Australia, but anyway, when this is finished, I'll unplug and we'll see how it works. So this update's actually taking a while. I will put on screen now what the update notes are, because there's actually quite an extensive update list on the full self-driving stuff. Alrighty, had my windscreen cover in because I was watching YouTube, but she's ready to update. Let's install it now. And yeah, we'll install her and start setting up some cameras. Geez, it'll take 55 minutes to install. Alright, that's a bit annoying. So I might have to find something to do while I'm at work. Might go watch YouTube somewhere else.
One eternity later.
Alrighty guys, so I'm all set up, ready to go. Alrighty, so I've just moved the car onto the street, just so it's out of the driveway. We're gonna go try full self-driving, tap to enable. Yes. Alright, self-driving for trial. Press to activate, set maximum speed. Full self-driving can steer your Tesla almost anywhere under supervision. It will make lane changes, blah blah blah. Do you want to enable full self-driving? Yes. So what we're going to do now, we're going to, I believe we'll just type in an address. Let's go to Nudgee Beach. Start with that. I'm buckled up. Nudgee Dog Park. Go. Why are we not driving? Do I need to put it in gear? Alright, I'm going to put my foot on the brake, put it in gear. Why are we not driving? How do we do this? Autopilot, full self-driving. Start full self-driving from park. When enabled, the button will appear on the map once the driver is buckled and driver requirements are met. Do you want to activate it from park? Yes. Brake to confirm maximum speed. We don't want to be speeding. Expand self-driving visualization. Sure. Let's go medium on that, just in case. Alright. We're in gear. Why are we still not full self-driving? Am I doing something wrong? Odd. I can drive. Why is it not working? Do I have to push the button? Oh, okay, here we go. Let's put the camera down. So we're away. Indicating, great. So you have to click the button on the steering wheel to make it work. Alright, so far so good. Let's see how it does a roundabout. It's actually kind of really weird. I've obviously used the regular driving quite a lot, but I've never used full self-driving. Now I have watched a couple of things on this. I've never really watched any of the American videos on it. I don't really care. I watched one video by Ryan's Model Y. The one point he made was that he finds it's safer pulling up to intersections because he's not worried about driving the car and stopping and stuff like that. He's able to do his head checks and everything. Now I'm just going to interrupt it here. It's sticking very far left in this lane, and there's so much rubbish in the left-hand side of the lane, because there's usually parked cars here all week. I personally would be sitting on the right-hand side closer to the lines. But anyway, yeah, so Ryan's Model Y made a comment about he's able to look at intersections better than when he's actually driving, because he's not focused on driving, he's just focusing on making sure the car's not going to run into anything. So this intersection can sometimes back up pretty bad. So it's ready to go. Let's see if it actually stops at a stop sign. It does stop. It's just punched it. Seems to be going fine. So I'll give some notes as we go, but I'm just going to end up repeating myself a lot. But so far, no complaints. Once I get to Nudgee Beach, I'll give you some more thoughts, and then we'll go somewhere else and see what it does. Now, cruising on this road, when you're on just regular cruise control, it quite often panics and tries to slow down and stuff, and it says curvature assistance, like here on this part of the road. There's no reason for it, but the full self-driving seems to be better than that. It is going 10 under the limit, but it's at least it's not slamming on the brakes going curvature assistance for no reason. Be interesting to see what it does if the light suddenly changes, if it slams on the brakes or what. But anyway, hopefully my DJI camera angle is better than normal, because it is quite a bit lower than what it normally is, so it should be able to see more out the windscreen than what it normally does. Now, it's worth noting this is a 2024 Model 3 long range. If you've been on my channel for a little bit, you already know that. I obviously have no options on this car. It's just blue, standard wheels, standard everything. No acceleration boost, no full self-driving other than the subscription now. And yeah, I believe this only works with hardware 3 cars, which are late 2024, late 2023 pre-facelift 3s, and 2024 and onwards updates, and 2024 and onwards Model Ys. So we're going to get in the turning lane now, but so it gets in the turning lane quite late. Could have got in there a lot earlier. I'll start getting ready to take over just in case. Alright, it basically didn't run a red light, but it was a very late orange light. I honestly thought it probably would have stopped. I probably would have. Obviously, if it's going to put me into a dangerous situation, I will take over, but I'll give it the benefit of the doubt until the very last second. I like to think I'm quite a good driver, so if I do have to make an evasive manoeuvre at the last second, I will be pretty safe with it. I have never hit another car on the road. I've been hit by other cars when stopped, but yeah, I have never hit someone else on the road. I don't really care about taking it on the highway, because I will do it eventually, but the highway is already really good with just the autopilot, the basic autopilot. Obviously the indicators and changing lanes and stuff like that is not there on that, but it does a good job of keeping you in your lane and stuff, so I'm not too interested just yet in seeing what that's like. I will obviously be probably doing that at some point today, but it's not going to be the focus of the video. The focus of the video will be doing drives more like this around town and in traffic and stuff, and just see how that behaves. Because yeah, the highway driving is the only downside to the regular autopilot is the phantom braking, and I believe that the full self-driving does a better job of dealing with that, because it's actually being a little bit more active in its driving rather than just keeping you going. It focuses more on what's actually happening around you. So if a car pulls up, instead of just panicking at the last second, it's more likely to identify that the car is slowing down and it's not going to pull out in front of you. So it's cruising 10 under the limit. It seems to be doing 10 under the limit at most places. I assume that's because it's fairly new for Australia. I'm not too concerned with that. I mean, this is an 80 zone. It's probably not. It's probably a road that should be 60 anyway, because it's a, you know, pretty crappy road, pretty bumpy and bouncy and all that. But I'll see if it actually pulls into the dog park. I've got someone tailgating the absolute shit out of me, so. So it's cool that it speeds up and slows down a lot more than the regular cruise control autopilot. This person is literally, I can't even see like anything less than the roof of their car. So it should try and turn in here. And I'll probably take over if I have to. Turning, coming in. It took that quite wide up the dirt. It's confused because there's a person parking. Don't really know what it's trying to do. I think it's going to try and park me. No, I'm taking over. Because it wasn't going to hit that car, but it was going to try and reverse. And that person that's been tailgating me for the last 10 minutes is probably going to get annoyed at me. Alrighty, so we successfully made it to Nudgee Beach. It almost tried to park. It just came a little close to a parked car, and I didn't want it trying to reverse while that absolute spoon dick P-plater was tailgating me, driving all the way up my ass, even in the driveway. So I'm going to get the camera going again. We're going to go to Virginia, 1320 Motorsports. Going to pop in and say good day there. And then probably go for Guzman for lunch. So I will set it to 1320 and see how it goes getting me there. I'll record the whole way. I sort of yapped a bit through that. I'll do a little bit more yapping on the way out there as well, and we'll see how it goes. I thought there was a button you could click. Oh yeah, here we go. Press and hold. Right, it turns very late. Like, it turns like someone that's not very confident behind the wheel. I think it's given up. It gave up in the car park and just stopped driving. Alright, I'm going to drive it out of the car park. It basically just got really close to those cars and just gave up. Let's engage it again. Car coming, but fuck those guys, we're turning. They're not that close, they're pretty far away. It's definitely pretty seamless turning it on. So yeah, you just click. Off we go again. It'll be interesting to actually do a range test to see if it uses more of the range to use the processing power or sending data or whatever it's doing, to see if there's a real world noticeable difference between, and I always wondered that about the autopilot as well, whether there's a difference in the range economy, I suppose is the term for it. You know, like if you're supposed to get, you know, 400 k's to a tank, or to a charge, if the autopilot or the full self-driving uses up some of that percentage, and how much of the percentage it uses up. Obviously the radio, the air conditioning, all of that will affect it, but you know, like, is using autopilot on a full battery charge going to use 1% of your battery, or is it going to use 10% of your battery? Or it'd be interesting to see what percentage it actually uses, because it says, you know, like you would have saved 0.2% of battery on this trip if your temperature was set to 22 instead of 20. So, you know, 0.2% of a charge, I don't really care. But if it's like multiple percents, then it would add up to cost you more money to drive. You know, it's cheap to drive these anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but it would just be interesting. So it gives you a different camera angle when you're using the full self-driving as well. When you go through intersections, it shows a totally different layout to what it normally looks like. So that's a bit interesting. But overall, it's very impressive with how well it does for this sort of driving. Obviously the car parks could do with work, but I mean, I get confused in Queensland car parks because car parks in Queensland seem to be the most retardedly made car parks on planet Earth, with random curbs and islands and gardens and poles and single parking bays and one-way driveways and stuff in them. Whereas I usually find in Melbourne and Sydney the car parks are like common sense, like two-way roads in them and no random little traffic triangular parking bays and random crap like that. Whereas in Queensland they just seem to be just slapped together by someone that doesn't have a brain. Now I do drive around this area quite a bit for work, so I'm quite comfortable driving around this area. I'm usually, you know, looking at a laptop screen while trying to data log cars, so this area is pretty safe for me. I know the area quite well. Pretty comfortable driving on full self around here. Now it is going to be coming up to a train crossing. Now this train crossing is probably one of the worst in Queensland that I know of, because it's I couldn't even describe it to you. It's like a road that ends, but then you got to cross the train to get onto the next road. It's the Banyo crossing, if anyone knows it. Quite often there's pedestrian crossings all around it as well. There was construction, lollipop ladies, men holding stop signs were also there for ages. But obviously there won't be any of that there today. I'm pretty sure they've finished working on it, but station upgrades and stuff. But we'll see how this does. I'm gonna have to be prepared to take over if it tries to stop me on the train crossing. But I hope that it doesn't try and stop me on the train crossing. I hope for Tesla's sake. Now, it's easy for me as a Tesla fanboy to say, you know, things like, if you hear a story of, you know, full self-driving took me down a wrong way down a one-way road. Well, at the end of the day, you're the one responsible for driving the car. The car's just assisting you. So if the car's about to go down a one-way road, you're supposed to step in and stop it. So if you get in trouble because you are using full self-driving, I personally think it is 100% not Tesla's fault, it is 100% your fault. So here we are coming up to the crossing. So we want to kind of go across the train line and then turn left. So indicating, they have to give way to us. Yeah, it did pretty good. I'm probably not game enough yet to go that way with it, because you have to give way to other traffic, whereas the way I went, I pretty much had right away over everyone. But it did well. It definitely has an issue with doing the speed limit. It definitely drives like a Sunday driver, because this is a 60 zone. There's no reason for it not to be able to do 60. It's choosing to do 40. So the regular auto steer or autopilot or whatever, it probably, about a year ago, it would have absolutely nailed the brakes when that ute just pulled up to that T intersection, because it would have assumed he was going to pull out in front of me. So that has gotten better over time with updates. When I first got this car, after about 3 days, I took it down to Melbourne and I hit ghost braking at least 10 to 15 times. It was really annoying. The last Melbourne trip I did, I reckon I ghost braked once. It used to ghost brake going under bridges. It used to ghost brake at every T intersection. You know, like if there was just a road that just crosses the highway, it would just slam on the brakes for no reason, even if there was no car there. So we are coming up to a little bit of another tricky intersection. It's like a bit of a roundabout. It's where Toombul Road merges on a Sandgate Road. It's kind of like a roundabout. It's like a 2-lane merge onto the road, and then it needs to immediately start moving left to be able to get to 1320. It doesn't have to go down that first road. It can go down the second road. But let's see if it wants to go. I would have probably gone in the middle lane and gone past traffic, but I think it probably defaults to trying to overtake on the right like you're supposed to. But in a 60 zone, you can overtake on the left. So I think if it sits behind people for long enough, it might decide to go around them, but just pulling up like how it did then, it probably wouldn't have enough time to think, let's go around this traffic. So this is the little roundabouty thing. You quite often get cars pulling out on that side that have to cut across you to turn to go that way. So in peak hour, this just banks up. It's not hard, it just banks up. You get people that fly up the left to try and cut you off. And now we're gonna have to start. This lane is added on Sandgate Road, but we're gonna need to start indicating and moving over. So we'll see how long that takes to try and do that. Alright, it's doing it pretty much right away. And so far so good. Still needs to move another lane over. What I normally would do is wait till you get past this light before moving over, because you get everyone that tries to turn down that road. It's actually doing an alright job. It's about how I would have done that. So at some point it's about to realise that it needs to be over another lane. Yep, starting to dawdle. Plenty of room. Everything it did was not bad. I probably would have zoomed up further and cut in front of this ute. But I'm a hoon. Should already be in the turning lane. Now it's crossing a solid line. It's now getting confused because someone's going into Macca's. It's getting ready to take over, but no, it took off again nice and quickly. I was just getting ready to take over in case it gave up and got confused. Probably would panic brake when it saw that too, but it did a good job there. Now I believe 1320 will already be closed when we get there, but I was going to pop in and say g'day to the boys, but I don't really know of anywhere else to just drive to while not actually needing to go anywhere. So worst case, if it's closed, go to Guzman and get some lunch, and then maybe head home and finish the video at that, until I can work out somewhere better to drive to. But overall, I reckon it's probably better at driving than just from day one's experience. It's better than at least 40% of people on the road. Obviously, a machine is never going to be perfect, and it will get better with revisions. I would personally program it to stick closer to the right hand side than the left hand side, because that's where you're more likely to get punctures and potholes and run over debris on the road. In the middle, you're less likely to run over stuff. So it's hanging quite far left on these wider industrial streets, but it's not really, wasn't really intended for using on these sort of roads. So it's getting a little confused because 1320 is just here. They are still open. It's trying to turn into nothing. Alright, had to intervene. So that's another fail. But I mean, it's been out for a day, so this is where 1320 is. I don't know where it was trying to go. It looked like it wanted to do a U-turn. Anyway, just gonna pop in and say g'day to the boys. Alrighty, so obviously had an issue getting into the 1320 driveway, but obviously had to correct that. Went in, had a good chat to Mick. I literally walked in and he goes, "Did you just drive here on autopilot?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I did." Anyway, had a good chat with him. Actually got to check out the new 1320 wheels that they're going to be releasing, which are exciting. So definitely going to get a set of them for the BA. Now we're going to go for another drive. Going to go get some lunch at Guzman and then head home probably. For now, I won't give you any more thoughts. Going to go see how it handles Guzman, see how it handles going home, which will involve a little bit of highway, and I'll give you final thoughts when I get there. tap the brake to confirm. Disengaged. Okay. I'm gonna tap the brakes twice. Press and hold here to cancel. Tap brake to confirm. Alright. Don't know where it thinks it's going, but definitely can't get out this way. It's about to run into a building. Right, it's confused. Gave up. Alright, I'm gonna turn it around. See if we can work it out from here. Wrong side of the driveway, but we can forgive it. Why is it turning right? Righto. I probably would have gone left, but that's just me. So, look, what it just did, I could be very critical of it and go, well, that's freaking dumb. But the fact that it even tried something is just amazing in itself. I mean, what, 5 years ago, the car would never have even, you never would have, if you told me 5 years ago I was going to have a car that could drive me to go get a burrito for lunch without me actually driving it, I would have said, you're absolutely full of it. That will never happen. But, I mean, it obviously went the wrong way, but it doesn't know what the car park looks like. It didn't walk out of the shop and look and see what the car park looks like and get in the car. It just started in a car park and went, what do I do? It took a risk. It went one way. It didn't work. So it obviously went, I can't work this out, and just turned off. This intersection's usually pretty crappy visibility because of the parked cars, but we're good. Be interesting to see which entrance it tries to use for Guzman, because we can turn right onto Sandgate Road and turn left into Guzman and go through the car park, or we can go straight across Sandgate Road and turn right just before the Nudgee College. So, alright, it at least got into that turning lane when it was supposed to. So the other thing, it makes a bing bong noise when a light turns green, and quite often you'll be sitting at a red light and the arrow will turn green and it will go bing bong, your light's green, but it generally doesn't know what you're actually trying to do. Whereas with full self-driving, it didn't bing bong and say the light's green when the left turn arrow went green, because it knows we want to turn right. So let's see what it wants to do. It wants to turn right on Sandgate Road and then turn left in at Guzman. Problem with that is there's two right turn lanes here. So it needs to turn right from the left turn lane here. So let's just give it the chance and see what it tries to do. I'm probably already setting it up for failure. It also isn't currently indicating. But let's see what it tries to do. I'm going to have to be really ready to make it not run into this Triton next to me. Alright, indicated last minute. It's now merging across all the lanes. Luckily there was no one there, so I was able to do it. It just wasn't the right way to do it. Now this intersection here is always a little bit shit too. I'm just going to take over. It basically was stopping there and holding everyone up. So what it was supposed to do was double back on itself and go down that lane to get to Guzman. I do want to make one change to this. That one. I don't want that one. I want to look at the map more. Navigate. I want to go to Bluey's World, which is home, but I don't want it to take me home because it won't be able to park in my basement. I want it to officially park somewhere. So if we go to Bluey's World, it should be able to park there.
You sure about that?
So GoPro's rolling. Let's go. Tap brake to confirm. Tap. So the car next to me is leaving. It waited for them to leave, which I honestly thought it would have pulled out at the same time as them and got confused, but it waited. Needs to turn right here. Yep, did a good job of that. Needs to watch out if anyone's coming that way or that way. Yep, did a good job of pausing without taking too long. Now needs to go left. Great. So far so good. Now it has to navigate this little roundabouty thing, but backwards. We're also going under a mobile phone detection camera here, so it'd be interesting if I get done for not holding the steering wheel. So I think I'm going to go with 2 hands on the wheel here, just in case. And now we can relax a little bit more. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. It's got to go backwards through this roundabouty thing where Toombul Road and Toombul Road and Sandgate Road connect. So it'll be interesting to see how it handles that. And then it's getting on the highway after that. Then it's got to get off the highway after that. I actually really like it. I just don't know if I can pay $150 every month to keep it, because the free one is 70% as good and free. So if this was $60 a month, absolutely I'd do it. $80 a month, yeah, I'd probably do it. If I had a tight month, I'd probably cancel it. I'd live without it. $150 a month, other than this month and maybe over Christmas, I do not think I'll keep using it. So unfortunately it's the 18th of October, so if we'll probably let it run till the 18th of November, and then I'll probably renew it a few days before I go to Melbourne. So that is if I do drive down again this year. I might fly, but we'll see how this goes. Alright, this is this roundabouty thing. So it effectively just needs to give way to the right, and there's no one there. If you have normal self-driving on, it'll just blow through that. It literally just blows straight through it, like as though there's no intersection there. It will slow down for curvature assistance. It's not going to do it at 60 or anything, but it will, it treats it like a straight road. I actually wonder how this works. Like if I put my right left indicator on, will it just indicate left, or is that only on the what do they call it? Not full self-driving, not the autopilot, advanced autopilot, enhanced autopilot. With the enhanced autopilot, if you just indicate, it'll lane change. But I wonder if it will do that on full self-driving as well. I'll try that when there's less cars around. So it's much closer to the speed limit here with traffic, whereas earlier it was sitting like a good 10 under. It's currently doing basically the speed limit. Autopilot gets confused if you go through a big intersection that doesn't have lines. It starts panicking, going left, right a little bit because it's unsure where to go. But the full self-driving seems to do a much better job of going, this is where I am, that's where I need to get to, straight line through it. The one thing it could probably do a better job of is avoiding potholes and bumps within the lane. Now, also, the original autopilot that I used to have, it doesn't stop for stoplights or red lights or anything like that. So again, it would just blow through this, whereas full self-driving recognises what the lights are doing and everything. So So now my GPS is telling me it wants the right lane. Both lanes turn right, but it says it wants the right lane. So let's see if it tries to merge over to turn at this roundabout. There's no reason for it to. It should know that it can turn from this lane, but it very might just cut across and cut in front of everyone. Alright, it must know that it can turn from this lane. Indicating, staying in this lane. Alright, did a good job of that. It goes very slowly through here. Like I said earlier, it's very Sunday driver spec. Someone wants to go around me, someone's going around me because it refuses to move over. Tesla could have been a little bit more assertive there and merged over in front of them before it got too late. I personally would have absolutely blitzed them on that on-ramp, but I'm not the one driving. So it seems to be happy just sitting 10 under. See if it speeds up now with more clear road. Seems to be slowing down, if anything. It thinks it's 60. Alright, so that straight away is a failure. It read the speed sign for the off-ramp and it slowed me down to 60 on the highway. That is dangerous. Just sending my voice message to Tesla. So the autopilot used to do the same thing, but it would just override it and stay at 90. So it quite often sees on the off-ramp back there, it's a 60 zone. It saw the 60 sign and started slowing me down. I obviously took over because I don't want to be doing 60. It still says I should be doing 60, but around this corner there's a 90 sign. So once we go past this 90 sign, so it's little things like that that need refining. So for the last year, it's constantly picking up signs that don't actually exist on this motorway. So let's go back on. So yeah, it picks up signs that are for slip lanes and turning lanes and stuff, and it slows you down. But on normal autopilot at that intersection, it usually just stays at 90, just keeps doing 90, but it will say that it's 60 even though it's obviously 90, but it stays at 90, whereas that slowed right down immediately, which, I mean, that needs looking at. I don't know if Tesla are going to ever like review my footage or whatever I send them. So it's obviously uploading all the driving footage to the cloud to process it and sending it back or whatever it does. So when you need to intervene, you can send it a voice memo saying this is why I took over. Now again, the autopilot has a terrible time here. It usually goes too fast and tries to shoot you off that way and refuses to turn left. This needs to get in the left lane, which it did. It just didn't indicate. It actually did that fairly smooth, quite well actually, but it should have indicated. Yeah, it sort of got a little bit unsure there and it didn't know if it wanted to keep going in the right lane or the left lane. Either one will be fine for what we're doing, but it probably should have made a decision sooner. Now, once we turn left on a Theodore Street here, Theodore Street is another one of those roads that's pretty wide and it has, right here at about the halfway point, used to be a give way for going this way, and everyone always pauses there because they still think it's a give way, but it's actually a give way going the opposite direction now. Well, not the opposite direction, but perpendicular or whatever. So, Fison Ave or whatever it's called. So we'll see if it slows right down for that intersection, but it shouldn't. It should just keep doing 60 through there. FSD also seems to pull up closer behind parked cars than what the old autopilot used to do. It used to stop real far back. Again, it thinks it's 50 here. I don't actually know what the speed limit is on this road. Could be 50, could be 60, I don't know. It's not a residential street, so I don't know why it wouldn't be 60, but we were on a 60 zone. and there's no speed signs here, so I would assume it continues being 60. But for some reason, the Tesla always thinks it's a 50 zone here. Now this is the intersection that used to be a T intersection. Well, it used to be a give way for us. It's now a give way going these ways. So it should just blow through it. It's slowing down. But, I mean, I've definitely followed people that are going to Eat Street or Bluey's World that are worse at driving than that. So overall, not too bad. So let's see how it tries to go into here. Now it has to give way to pedestrians at this crossing. So hopefully we don't run anyone over. We just blew straight past the entrance. And it seems to think the entrance is here. Alright, it now has no idea what it wants to do. It wants to do a U-turn. We'll see how it handles the U-turn. I'm probably going to just have to take over here because it looks like it wants me to go all the way back to Theodore Ave and turn around again, which is definitely not what I'm going to let it do. Now, is this an issue with Tesla's full self-driving, or is this more likely, sorry, I just had to really concentrate there because there was a dog, or is this, I'm going to take over. The driveway was not reported correctly in the maps and it drove straight past it. Sorry, that was just my recording to Tesla. So I don't know if you can see that, but it seems to think the entrance to Bluey's World is there when in fact it's here. So is that an issue with Tesla's full self-driving? Sure. But is that actually an issue with the maps reporting the entranceway wrong? Yes, I would say it's more an issue with the maps being incorrect. If the maps were correct and showed the entrance being where it's supposed to be, which is here, then I would say it would have probably turned in here and probably parked somewhere. But I mean, the map's obviously outdated. Bluey's World doesn't exist in that map. Basically from there on is Bluey's World, and it seemed to think that I could come in this way. So the map is outdated, which means full self-driving is not going to work properly. It didn't know that there was an entryway earlier, and after it did a U-turn, it didn't remember that it drove past an entryway that it saw. It wasn't smart enough to go, no, that's actually the entrance. Let's go down there. Rightio guys, so there we are. So overall, quite impressed with the way it handled a lot of stuff. There was stuff that I was expecting it to do badly with that it actually went quite well with. But it actually surprised me with how badly it did some other stuff too. So its probably biggest blunders seem to be car parks. Number one, it really fails at car parks. Number two, driveway entrances. It really has no idea what it should be trying to do to get into an entrance. At 1320, it tried to go turn right where there was no driveway and there was a fence there. Coming into Bluey's World, again, because the maps were wrong, the map was reporting that the entrance was further up than what it was, so it was never going to get there. Should it have probably used the camera system to go, hey, there's a driveway there. Once it drove past it, had to do a U-turn, it probably should have figured out maybe it's that driveway that I saw and that we drove past. It's probably where we should have gone, but no, it didn't. It just sort of kept doing its own thing. While driving, the only real issue it does, it didn't indicate a couple of times when it wanted to lane change and stuff, which, you know, most people be out that bad with indicators anyway, especially BMW owners. And then obviously when we were turning right to get just before Guzman, it turned right from the right lane when it needed to be from the left lane. So overall, honestly, can't complain about it too much. Now, brings me to price. $150 a month. Will I pay that every month? Absolutely not. Will I pay that this month to test it? Absolutely yes. I can't wait to just do more driving with it. I want to try it out in a lot of different conditions. For the gimmick, $150 for a one-off, absolutely I'll pay that just to test it out. $10,000 for buying it outright. I couldn't imagine anyone that would do that unless you have too much cash. If you have too much cash to burn and just want to spend it, sure, go for it. If you don't want subscriptions dragging you down or whatever, But I couldn't imagine a world where people go, yeah, I'm going to pay $10,000 just so that my car drives itself. Using it for road trips, I think if you're going to be doing a lot of driving to manage fatigue, good investment. $150 though, might be cheaper just to fly, you know, and rent a car when you get there. But me personally, I'm probably going to buy this again in December for my trip to Melbourne if I drive down. Otherwise, it will basically run out at the end of this month and I probably won't do it again. If it was $60 a month, I'd probably do it every month. If it was $80 a month, I'd probably consider it most months. If I have a tight month, I'll probably cancel it. But yeah, 150 is just too much. I mean, look, overall, it's not that much, but I don't see a value there when I can drive myself. Like, I have no issue driving myself. I drive about 14 Ks to work, 14 Ks home. Weekends I generally go to work as well. Maybe I might do the odd trip to go pick something up off Marketplace about an hour away. If I was driving an hour, 2 hours every single day, yeah, it would definitely make a lot more sense. But I mean, it takes me 14 minutes, 12 to 14 minutes to get to work, 12 to 14 minutes to get home, and I really don't even have that much traffic. So I just don't see the value in it. So I guess my final thought is that I'm gonna have it for this month and that's it. Man, I mean, if these videos take off and people really want to see me full self-driving everywhere, I might continue it and keep making videos on it, but I don't see that happening. But yeah, if best case scenario, everyone loves these videos, watches them, and it pays off for me, but I just don't see that happening. So anyway, that'll end it for this video. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next video.